Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's energy update with me, Rebecca Meisel. I hope you all have been able to enjoy the past few weeks and we're able to enjoy this new moon, that amazing solar eclipse that we had on Saturday, and we're able to really tune into those energies and move through what was coming up for you. So this week we have quite a few heavier themes that I feel like have been quite dominant the past few weeks, and allowing ourselves to move into this shift of perspective of these things and how they're truly happening for us as we transition through these heavy energies and into more positive pastures. So without further ado, let's move into our first theme. So our first theme is hurt, change, and growth, persisting through the tears and the challenges of life. So this clearly has been a very huge theme for a lot of us the past few weeks. We've had some very tumultuous energies. We've had a lot of things that have been surfacing for acknowledgement, and a lot of that shadow work as well that has been really dominant in helping us illuminate ourselves to the truth of how things really are, where we are succumbing to self-sabotage, where we are not believing in ourselves, where we're still clinging to old beliefs that are outdated and no longer serving. We also have had a lot of illumination around where we've made mistakes or where we have not been our best selves and we've caved to those old patterns. And it's been a very strong energy. And I feel like with that, it's only natural that as we close off these cycles and as we're urged to release what hurts us, we have to go through that grieving stage. And this theme of grief has been extremely powerful. And I feel like that is through the collective on a very planetary level. There has been a lot of grief, and that in itself has been a huge theme where we are grieving what was, we are grieving the past, we're grieving the versions of ourselves that are now needing to be let go. But on top of this, a lot of us have been grieving the loss of loved ones. There's been a very strong theme of our loved ones and people leaving the planet at this time, or only coming in for short periods of time before their purpose is served and they must move on. And it's been this very intense time for a lot of us, however that grief has been coming through for you. But this week we have such a beautiful message to not give up hope and to keep going, because as heavy as these energies have been, we really need to gather support and continue moving through these challenges to come out the other side. And what I keep hearing for us this week is this grief is going to be incredibly transformative for us, as well as a huge catalyst to propel us forward in life. So I'm going to read what channeled through. It says, persisting through the tears and the challenges of life, extracting strength from others who can give it. Lean not just upon your own understanding. So what really was coming through here, our understanding of life as we perceive it is very much changing. We're starting to see beyond the limited picture that we've had, and we're starting to see the greater good that is happening and the miracle of life itself and the sanctity and preciousness of our humanness, but also expanding that view to how much more there truly is. So this week we're really diving into that. We're starting to once again let our pain propel us forward. So what channeled was, how can we let our pain propel us forward? How can we transmute the darkness into light? How can we release the suffering? We can grow within this space. We can expand our understanding. And what was so beautiful was this understanding and expansion of love that is happening this week. Where are we being called to learn greater spheres of love? So what came through was especially this understanding of death this week. So many of us might have been faced with this through our journey, or if we're moving through that at this time, it can be an incredibly earth-shattering experience. And what's really coming through this week is expanding our understanding of that process and seeing how there is so much more. And yes, we might ourselves have this loss, this grief that that person is no longer in our life, that is no longer present in this particular form, in a bodily, physical form. But we're starting to see how this grief, as necessary as it is for us to feel, does not change the fact that they are still with us this week. So what was so beautiful was this veil lifting. And that's what they were showing me, was like this veil lifting. And it's beautiful. They're showing me a lock and key and someone unlocking the lock. And it's like they're truly starting to see what lies beyond what we thought was true into these greater spheres of love. And that's what I keep hearing. It's like the more we start understanding death, the more we start understanding and removing the fear of death and how it is just an illusion, we start to move into these greater understandings and how loving everything is, how loving the experience of life and beyond is. So what they were showing me was literally like heaven's gate. And I just heard, this is love. We are welcoming these precious souls into love. They are transitioning into love. So what I keep hearing is like, don't grieve for me. Don't grieve for me because I'm in love. I'm in this beautiful space. And so we're getting this understanding this week. And that doesn't mean we negate our tears, our sadness, our grief. We need to experience those things. But we're learning how to use our grief in a way that propels us forward and doesn't keep us in this space of suffering forever. It allows us to move through the pain to the other side, where we can start really moving in to who we are now and how these experiences only are these catalysts for us to get to where we need to be in our life purpose and where we're supposed to be shifting and changing and how we are here to assist and help the earth. So I'm seeing a lot of purpose propel from this energy of loss. And so we're really needing to learn what we can from these experiences, as hard as they are. And that's the biggest thing. It's like we can't be insensitive to ourselves. Yes, we might see this greater purpose, but we need to be human too. So it's this energy of understanding both sides of ourselves, because we're not just one. We're a combination of the spiritual and the physical. We're finding this balance, and they're showing me someone half in their spiritual world and half in the physical. And so we have to start understanding that is where each of us is. We're this beautiful balance. And so once more, we need to honor both sides of ourselves and both sides of this experience that we're in. However this theme of grief is coming through for you, we must honor the feelings. We must honor our humanness, our hurt, our pain. And they're showing me someone literally sobbing and crying and letting that hurt out. And then getting that higher understanding of, okay, I can grieve, I can feel this, but I know this is not the end. I know that my loved one is safe, that my person, my beautiful soul that was in my life is only in a new space of love and healing and is still with me. And so I'm hearing, watch for signs of their presence this week, because I keep hearing we're going to get this reaffirming that they are safe and they're on the other side supporting you now. And now, once again, this goes through to any stage of grief you're in, whether that is the loss of someone or it's just the loss of yourself, the loss of what you thought was going to be possible for you. I'm also hearing this very strong theme of grief when it comes to our dreams. So maybe Maybe we had chapters closed that we didn't want to close. Maybe we're not in a position that we thought we were in, and maybe we have to grieve that loss of what we thought was going to be. Once again, feel all those feelings. So I'm going to continue to read what channeled here. It says, how are these challenges teaching you a greater understanding of love? So once more, we move into this theme of death. It says, do not fear death. Lean into your grief. Let it transform you and all that you knew of this world. Life is so much greater than you know. Everything you would endure is becoming of love. Ask, and we shall open your understanding. And they showed me the eyes opening. So we need to set intentions to ask this week. If we're in fear, if we're worried, if we don't know, ask and let that download come through this week. So it says, surrender your hardened thoughts and soften your ego, all of what you once believed. Be moldable and be molded by newfound truth. So once again, we need to let go of what we think is true. So the ego is our identity. What we perceive is our identity of how our belief systems, what things are, what is yes, what is no, what is right, what is wrong. But we have to be moldable this week. So once again, where do we need to let go of these hardened, rigid belief systems that say that's it? Right? Or what we've been taught in the past, or whatever these programs are, we need to soften and let ourselves question, well, what is possible? And where have I put limits on what's possible? Right? So we need to allow new truth to come in this week, and I'm seeing that really come through. So what channeled next was light and illumination are coming. Ask and you shall receive. Death is only the beginning. Let go of suffering now. The world is not as it seems. Free yourself from the conditioning of your past. So a lot of us might have these very strong opinions about God, around the universe, and especially around death. We, as humans, it's very difficult for us to grasp, and we can view it as cruel, right? We can view it as, well, why on earth would God take my family member from me? Why would this happen, right? We tend to have this perspective where it's cruel. It's like, why would a loving God take this from me? Why would he allow death? Why would there be this thing? How cruel, right? But what is so interesting is what channeled here. It says, free yourself from the conditioning of your past. God is not a dictator, nor has he condemned you to suffering and pain. You must remember the ways of love. You must allow the floodgates of your memory to transform. Set intentions to remember the power of you. You are so much more than you could ever know and remember. Trust only in yourself and your inner wisdom. Do not trust outward signs. So this was super interesting. So what came through here is really shifting our perspectives of God, of the universe, and of these old stories that, once again, make God out to be this very authoritative dictator energy where, yes, there's love, but there's also this pain and suffering that's been inflicted upon the world. And sometimes we can have that blame that goes to the universe, that blame that goes to God, and allow yourself to feel that, because once again, our emotions are not all the time logical. So if we've had this impression for most of our life and most of our upbringing, this can be incredibly challenging for us. And we might blame the universe, like, universe, why are you letting these things happen to me? Why is there suffering? Why am I moving through this hardship right now? And so if you feel that way, feel that way. The universe can take it. It holds space for you. So let all of that out. And that's what I'm really hearing. We need to let out our anger. We need to let out our pain. But to afterwards come to this understanding that no, the universe is never wanting to inflict pain upon us. It's never wanting to hurt us. It's not sending us through these energies of being condemned and condemning us to suffering and pain. We need to remember that everything is made of love, and we are always connected to that love and to the universe and every single thing. So what comes through here is understanding oneness, how we are a part of everything, how every soul is a part of you, how every essence, every tree, every flower, every angel, every guardian, every spirit guide, all are part of God, which means you are part of God. Right? So we have to remember our connectedness this week. We have to remember and come back to these energies of love. And that was what was beautiful, is remembering when we pass this veil into this earth, we forget. We have that amnesia that comes in where we are totally wiped clean of our former incarnations. For a lot of us, that's the truth. And we don't remember where we came from. So when we're on earth, we have to uncover that again. We have to remember who we are and what we are part of, and discover once again our understanding of love and what's possible for us and what is possible in this universe. But to do that, we have to let go of all of our indoctrination, all of these belief systems that are based from fear, that are based to thwart us. That's their goal, intentionally or unintentionally, to keep us away from that remembrance of who we truly are and the power that we possess. So very strong and amazing themes this week that we are moving through. And it's very beautiful, because at the end of this, I'm seeing so many of us feel so liberated. So once again, if this is challenging you, if you're grappling with why there is death, why there is challenges, why there is suffering, set intentions to the universe, because what I'm really hearing this week is, don't just accept what others tell you about it. Don't just accept what I'm telling you about it. Come to your own understanding. Come to your own confirmation of what this is for you personally. And so that's why it's important that each of us sit with this week and tune into the universe and ask, show me, so I can have a greater understanding of what I'm not seeing, of what is possible. Let me see, right? And the last thing I'm hearing to tell you with this theme is, every challenge, every pain, every teardrop that we have, it's all to help us gain a greater understanding of love. And as hard as that is for us to comprehend, every moment of every day, we have an opportunity to regress in love or progress in love. We have that choice. Am I going to do the loving thing for others, for myself, for this world? Am I going to allow myself to explore and really come to my understanding of what love really is? And how can I remove the stories that give me a very linear perspective of what that experience can be? So allow yourself to question this week and really set intentions. And what's so beautiful was trust only yourself. Trust your inner wisdom, right? Don't trust the outward signs. Trust yourself. Trust what is true for you. So from that theme, we move into our next theme, which is believing in ourselves. There's a huge energy where we are lacking confidence this week. We might get hit with a lot of self-doubt. We're getting a huge energy this week that is going to start reawakening our motivation. And so if you've been feeling unmotivated, if you've been feeling tired, if you've been feeling energetically drained, and that's completely normal. If you still are, that's completely normal. There's been so much going on astrologically and energetically. So move through that and move through this with ease and grace. So give yourself what you need and meet those needs. But we are going to start getting our energy back. And that's what I'm seeing come through this week. We're going to get new motivations. We're going to get new downloads and new ideas. So be very mindful and stay open to divine guidance this week. But the biggest thing is, once we get that landing in us, once that comes through, we need to start building our confidence, because what's sabotaging this forward movement is our own lack of belief in self. So what came through was believe in yourself. So what channeled lack of confidence, awakening core wounds around the identity you have been assigned or assigned yourself. You have forgotten who you are. Do not give into the ego stories around who you are and what is possible for you. Dare to question the beliefs of your mind, as many try to deceive you. Reinforce gratitude. So this is so interesting. So once again, do not fall into these ego stories or ego traps this week that might very well come to the surface. And for a lot of this is a core wound for almost every human being. We are sold the story that we're not enough, that we need to meet impossible standards everywhere we look. And so this is a huge core wound for all of us collectively. So many of us are suffering through that and trying to move through that pain of not ever being enough in this energy of lack. So when it comes to our dreams, we can't give up. And that's what I keep hearing. It's like, don't forget your power. And what came through is you've forgotten. So if you've been feeling unmotivated, if you've been feeling like nothing's working for you, that the universe is working against you, that your dreams will never happen, you've forgotten who you are. And it was so strong how this came through. It's like, you have forgotten your power. You've forgotten who you really are and what you're capable of. So if we hit that low this week, we need to remind ourselves, oh, right, actually, I am powerful. I am a soul. I am here on earth right now to do amazing things. That's why I'm here. So don't forget, okay? Don't forget what's possible for you. And that's what keeps coming through is we have very limited vision. We're not seeing the truth. We're not seeing what we're capable of. So we need to get honest with ourselves and go, actually, maybe I'm a lot better and a lot greater and a lot more capable than I am giving myself credit for. So I just keep hearing, do not give up. And I just get this like snap of the fingers, like, hello, wake up, get in gear here. Well, how are you viewing yourself? So we're getting this wake up call this week where it's like, don't do that anymore. Stop bringing yourself down. Stop second guessing yourself. You are seeing yourself through the lens of your conditioning. So dare to question those beliefs. Dare to question, because they're deceiving you. They're not true. They're lies. So where are you feeding into the lie? So what came through to counteract that was to reinforce gratitude for yourself. So we might be really hard on ourselves this week. We might be criticizing. We might be criticizing our bodies, our minds, our dreams, our inability, whatever that might come through as. But the antidote to this is gratitude. So how can we praise ourselves? How can we purge these stories of failure and recognize that the wheel of life is constantly turning, that things are always going to shift and change, and whatever situation you're finding yourself in this week, it's only temporary. It's only temporary, and that's what I keep hearing. So it says, all is temporary and will heal. Everything changes in time. Maintain a clear vision and perspective. Remain focused on your why. What is your soul mission? Do not give up on love. Do not give up on you. Shed the fear that blossoms and awakens and that tries to sabotage your growth. See it for what it is, a lie. So a lot about getting clarity around these illusions that we have that are standing in the way of really pursuing our soul's mission, what we're feeling called to do at this time. And I'm kind of getting this feeling that some of us may be a little confused around that right now. Maybe we aren't certain of who we are now as we move through this transformational time. Maybe we're unsure about what's next for us. But that being said, this is the perfect opportunity for us to start leaning into that and start exploring who we are now, what it is we need to remember about our soul. And the best advice I'm getting to help us gain clarity around our earthly mission and clarity around what we want to move towards is communing with our own souls. So our higher selves, our true essence. So a lot of us might want to set intentions this week to really connect with our soul space, our heart space, and really come through to what's resonating with who I am now, and how can I devote myself to what it is that I am here to do. And I'm really seeing this beautiful purpose bloom inside of us, and remembering that our purpose can very well be very simple. It can be straightforward. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be massive to create echoes and waves of love in this world. So really allow yourself to take time this week to explore and really see and uncover what lies we're telling ourselves, what sabotage we are creating that hinders us from really moving into the expansion we need to be moving through. So this moves me into our next theme, which is all about rest and rejuvenation. So I was really getting this very anxious and nervous energy. So maybe a lot of us are going through anxiety right now. Maybe we're not feeling confident in our ability, in what's next in our lives. I just see like these fears, and they're just circling and circling around someone, where it's just like, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? And it's overwhelming you, and it's debilitating. So I just keep hearing, we need to come down from that mental energy. We need to come back into our bodies this week, and we need to take a break, okay? So if there's things you're just like, I need all the answers now, I don't know what to do with my life, like we might be actually putting a lot of stress on ourselves. And maybe all these external things that we've been going through, maybe all this heaviness that we've been going through has really like burned us out. So I'm really hearing we need to take the time to rejuvenate, to rest, and to reclaim our energy. So even the physical body is very emphasized this week with having strong boundaries with that, listening and tuning into your physical. Very important this week. So I'm hearing what we really need to do is come back to the body. And this rejuvenation is actually going to help us heal a lot in a very favorable space. Sometimes we think we have to be facing all these things head on. We need to be the warrior. We need to, force and struggle to heal. But that's really not true. And what they're really showing me this week is we can actually heal tenfold by just slowing down, by just allowing ourselves to be, and learning how to be in the moment can be very profound and powerful. So what came through next year was relinquish your past, shedding layers of karma and past energy. So very interesting. I immediately felt this very heavy, dense, exhaustive energy. So it came through, take the rest you require. So we are shedding huge layers of karma, past energy, ancestral energy. Like what we're healing is really huge this week, and we have to stop minimizing what we're shifting through. And I know this came through last week, but it bears repeating. We are shifting through very heavy energy right now. All of these illusions, all of these stories, all of these hurts, all of these grief, all these things that perhaps has been generational, perhaps has come through karmically through our past lives, perhaps it's even just through this incarnation. We're shedding these really intense layers of energy, and so it's going to be tiring, it's going to be exhausting. So yes, we have a surge of energy that's going to be coming through, but when we have these cycles of tiredness, of just feeling exhausted, we need to take what we need. So I'm really hearing like this is helping us let go of these old energies. The more we replenish ourselves, the more we remember that everything is connected to our vibration. So once again, we might need this reminder. productivity doesn't equal our worth. It doesn't mean that more is better. Sometimes less is more. So how can we become more adept to that understanding? How can we start remembering, hey, maybe I don't have to constantly fixate on the problem to make things happen. Maybe I can just be and let the downloads come to me. Maybe I can let the universe bring in a helping hand. Maybe I don't have to do everything myself, right? So self-care is really important, and learning the value of slowing down in our journey. Just saw 12:12 on the clock. So might be a good angel number to check into if it resonates for you. So what channel next was allowing the body what it needs. Feel into how to strengthen and heal your vessel. Make it your sacred temple. Where is improvement needed? Shedding fears around our physical health. Okay, so this is so interesting. So once again, we need to learn how to feel into our bodies. We need to start respecting our bodies. We need to, once again, feel into it instead of thinking into it. So a lot of times we can get a lot of information around health, and they're just showing me this. We can get bombarded by health information, okay? But what's interesting about that is things are always changing when it comes to health. We hear one thing, this is really great, and then the next thing we know, oh, it's not great. Oh, this is what we need to do. This is how you need to eat. This will equal this, right? So we can have this very fixed view on health. And even if we're open-minded to different modalities and different things, sometimes too much is not good either. So I'm seeing almost like this sensory overload where it's like maybe we're feeling like we need to try all these things, we need to do all these things, but what I'm really hearing is make life simple for yourself. How does your body feel? You know, one of the biggest things we tend to overlook is how we actually feel by what we eat, by what we consume, by what supplements we take. You know, a lot of times we once again bypass our feeling and our bodies physically feeling for what we've read online or for what this thing is good for. It should be this for us. So we need to stop attaching to certain information. And that's what I'm seeing for a few of us is we're getting a little bombarded by what we need to be doing, by what society is saying and those standards for our health, like we need to do this workout style or we need to eat this way, we need to have these things every day. You know, we can get very rigid in that, and we can once again get very solidified in our belief systems around what our health needs to be and what that needs to look like on a daily basis. But they're like, that's so rigid. Everybody is an individual. So why would every individual eat the same and it give the same result? It won't. So they're saying like we need to have openness and we need to have flexibility when it comes to our health. And we need to come to this awareness if certain things are not agreeing with our bodies, then that's our signal to stop, to go, oh, okay, actually, I don't feel good doing this. Or, oh, this might be too much. Or maybe I don't have enough of this. And they're like, get the facts, like really listen intuitively to yourself and try, right? So they're like, experiment, give yourself freedom, move into intuitively choosing what is right for you. And so I'm really hearing we need to make some tweaks and improvements this week. So maybe we're lethargic lately. Maybe we're just worn out. We're tired. So maybe we need more food. Maybe we need more nutrients. Maybe we need to be fueling our bodies more efficiently. You know, a lot of times what we tend to do when we're tired or we're going through a lot, we tend to go through, you know, those quick fixes where it's like, okay, I need a pick-me-up. So food can be that pick-me-up. Maybe we're hitting, you know, the fast food joints. Maybe we're eating a lot of sugar right now, or maybe we're just overdoing things in certain areas. So they're like, really just be mindful of those tendencies and notice where we're seeking out comfort or that high that we get from food, and finding more of a balanced approach this week. Go, okay, maybe I need more vitamins, or maybe I need more nutrient-dense foods that can correct these cravings in my body or this disbalance in my body, and really analyzing why we reach for those things and making things as easy as possible. So once again, a lot of our big deterrents to getting healthy is the time and effort it takes. how can we make it the easiest, most successful thing we do? So one of the biggest things is like find simple, easy meals to make yourself that don't take a lot of effort. And that's what they're saying, like whether you meal plan, whether you just get a combination of a few recipes that are super easy to do, that are healthy and good for you, just having those in your arsenal can be so helpful when we're going through things and we're tired and we don't have the energy expenditure. So they're really saying it's important to become aware of our daily habits and to make improvements where it's needed. The other thing that was really coming through is shedding our fears of health. So maybe we've had some physical issues coming up for us lately. Maybe we haven't been feeling our best. So really be mindful of that. So where am I fearing? Where am I in fear of my body? Where do I feel like my body is working against me? Where am I afraid that my body is going to give out? Or whatever these fears are, we need to start recognizing them. So what came through next was, why am I triggered? What haven't I learned? How can I learn how to move my emotions and hurt through my body and not harvest or retain them? Okay, so what I was hearing is we're having a teaching moment. And this is where we need to learn how to move through the emotions and the fear through the body instead of retaining it. So a lot of times our physical issues are stemming from emotional roots. So where we haven't listened to that emotion, where is it going to go? It's going to harvest in the body somewhere. So everything that we have in our body can be a messenger, so we need to be aware, what is my body saying? What is it speaking to me? How can I receive that message? So we're going to have some introspective work this week where we do that. We tune in. What's going on? Why am I hurting? Where am I hurting? What is the message this has for me? And meditating and asking and setting those intentions so those answers can come through for you. A lot of times we get this mistaken view that the body's working against us, that we're going to lose our health. We can have that fear, but is that just some way to stop you from moving forward? So how can we, once again, address our concerns? Get aid, get help if that's what you need, but really move through that fear and learn how to properly process the emotions so they're no longer harvesting and staying where they don't need to be. So we're really learning how to work with our bodies this week and clear energies and emotions that are only sabotaging our forward movement. So from there, we have a very strong theme of awakening to destiny. So what was so beautiful was they were showing me the Akashic Records. So the Akashic Records are records of our soul's journey. That could be the past, that could be the present, and also the future. It shows the record of every single soul. So we have a very strong highlight of going into those Akashic Records this week. What do we need to learn about that journey? So what I was really hearing is asking, like, why am I here? What am I here to do? Who am I here to be, right? These are big questions that we need to start pondering and asking our soul selves. And if we access those records, looking into that. So what was really coming through was our light working. How are we really being called to light work in this life? How are we being called to help heal this world, heal ourselves, and how have our understandings of what that needs to look like shifted the past few weeks, the past few months through these challenges? What needs to be enough? And this was so interesting that came really through just now. So maybe we keep thinking we need to be doing more. Maybe we keep thinking we're failing at our journey or our goals. But what I just keep hearing is like, no, this is once again a program saying what you're doing isn't enough. So a lot of times we can get into that toxicity where we don't see ourselves as being enough by what we're doing now. So just be careful of falling into that trap. They're just kind of showing me that this week, that might come through for us, where it's like, well, now I got to do this, and now I got to do that, and I got to do this. But if we're never taking a moment to honor the success we already have had. We're not taking a moment to honor who we've become now and how we've already done lots of healing for this world. So we need to be careful, right? So yes, we want to have that understanding. What's next for us? Why am I here? Reaffirming that why is important, that purpose in ourselves. They're just showing me like lighting a fire. So we're lighting that passion, that excitement again for life. That's important, but don't devalue yourself now and your current state and what you've already done and accomplished. Okay, so there's going to be this delicate balance, and we're really going to get illumination to where we're still thinking we're not good enough, and we're getting this opportunity to change that story this week. So very, very beautiful. Okay, so what came through here was seeing past the illusions that seem to hold you back. They are not real. Live your life now. Stop waiting, start creating. So then it came through a surge of motivation, seeing behind the curtain. So this was so beautiful because once again, we're seeing what's actually possible for us. And when they showed me like seeing behind the curtain, it's like you're seeing past the illusions. You're going, okay, I see the curtain, I see the illusion, but what's beyond that, right? We're like, let's get curious. What could be beyond this fear that I won't be successful, or things won't happen for me, or I won't ever get to be enough? What if we just peeked beyond that for a minute and started asking ourselves that, like, what is possible? What could be possible for me? What could I do, right? So these illusions are only holding you back, and they're not even real. So the other big one that was coming through here was, once I do this, once I am successful, once I have this, then I will be able to be happy and fulfilled. We tend to put off our happiness, our desires, our dreams, and they're saying this is not the way. We need to create that reality right now. That's how it's going to manifest tenfold for us, is if we embody the vibration, I am enough, I have enough, I will constantly be in this vibration of abundance. They're really saying it's important we learn how to manifest from this space of gratitude and fulfillment and give that to ourselves now. So if we are holding that off from ourselves, be careful. Where am I punishing myself? Where do I believe a story that says it's not possible for me, or I am not allowed, or I can't, right? So once again, they're like, our productivity doesn't equal our worth. So be very mindful of that story if that comes up. We cannot constantly force things to happen. So where do we need to learn that beautiful lesson of being, and that being enough? So really beautiful. So stop waiting, stop putting off your value, your worth, your joy, your success till later. Start creating it now. Start celebrating your life right now. And this is going to start bringing forward that motivation. Really, really beautiful. So we have quite the jam-packed week. So many profound life lessons that are really coming through for us. But just remember, my friends, take it as it comes. Let yourself move with the cycles and rhythms of life, and give yourself the grace and beauty along the way. These are really big things that we are shifting through, and we need to start recognizing the power of that and the ability and capability we have to surmount these mountains, because we would not be tasked with this. We would not have chosen these challenges, these situations in our soul's journey if we could not surmount them. So know you can do this. Know you are so strong and so capable. And this is only going to propel you forward, my friends. So please remember the power of you. We know it's hard. And I just keep hearing that. We know it's hard. The human experience is not easy. But you're not alone, and you absolutely can create this new belief system for your life, create these new rules for your life that serve you, and stop disempowering you. You can do it. So if you need support with this, please let me know. I'm offering my deep healing sessions. I'm offering Reiki classes. I'm offering mentorship, one-on-one connection. If any of these things call to you, please let me know and reach out. I would love to connect with you. So I'm sending you all so much love and light, and best of luck as we traverse these new themes this week. Lots of love. Bye-bye.